Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. So, change. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tongue tied already. Plans changed today. We were going to go over Stephen Stern's calls tonight, right? And we were not going to talk about Rebecca Park's case until tomorrow because her sister has a probable cause hearing and her fiance has a preliminary hearing tomorrow. So that was the plan. I thought we would finish the interview with Courtney, the interview right before Rebecca was found, where she's trying to make it look like Kimberly is to blame. I thought we would finish that then, and we still may do that tomorrow because today we have a lot to go over. Probable cause affidavit has been released, and it's 15 or 17 pages, and it's full pages, like it's a lot. So we're going to read through it. We're finally getting some real information, some factual information, which there were a few parts that surprised me, things that we had wondered about and talked about. I think this will be, interesting for those of you who have followed along. So last weekend, for those of you who don't know, last weekend I was watching my friend Amber at ATS News, and she mentioned this missing pregnant woman. And right after that, she was found. And the baby was missing, and I just became completely invested and dove right in. And we have been going deep because there's a lot of information out there. Everybody involved did a ton of interviews. I actually went looking today I found more, which we'll save that for tomorrow. And I'll show you guys some of the things I found and saved on TikTok. If we have time tonight, we may go through some of those I saved at the end here. It's kind of interesting. We'll see. So that's the plan. There's a playlist if you haven't been following along, because there is a lot and you don't really want to miss any part of it, because each and every day and each and every live that I've done, there's been important stuff in that I think you wouldn't want to miss if you were following, because we've went over new information or new interviews each time. Or new to us interviews, right? Like there's a lot out there. So trying to get through all of that information, and it's on the playlist if you're interested. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to jump right in. Let me try to fix this though. There we go. And say hello to you guys. Hey, Jay. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, Coffee. Oh, awesome, Jay. That's cool. Hey, Selma. This Mom. Good to see you. Hey, Butterfly Kisses. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Connie. I almost didn't go live tonight. I really wasn't feeling super great. I'm feeling a lot better now. Kids missed school today. There's all kinds of bugs going around, and colds and sicknesses and stomach bugs and all the things. So I am thankful to feel better to be here with you guys tonight to go over this. So let me go ahead and pull it up and let's get started. We're going to jump right in, because I actually would like to be able to pull up some of the interviews. Before I start reading, though, I have a question. So let me know if the sound is okay, if I sound loud enough, because I have a windscreen on. Now, I know that you might hear wind chimes in the back. Maybe I'll take those down. But otherwise, hopefully you don't hear the wind and you just hear me. Awesome, Rhonda. Okay, cool. Sounds great. Okay. All right. Just wanted to double check before we jump in, because, yeah, I wanted to be outside. So, like I said, I do have the windscreen on the mic and stuff. But here we go. This is the probable cause affidavit for both Bradley and Courtney. On November 4th, 2025, Wexford County Central Dispatch received call from Kimberly Sue Park reporting that her sister, Rebecca K. Park, had not been seen since November 3rd, 2025 at approximately 11:30 p.m. at 30 South 21 and a half Road in Boone Township. Deputy Reed began Wexford County Sheriff's Office Incident Report number 832502-044 as a missing person investigation. At the time of the report, Rebecca Park was 38 weeks pregnant and living with her boyfriend, Richard Lee Fowler, at 1531 North 41 and a half Road in Cedar Creek Township. Deputy Reed spoke with Courtney Marie Bartholomew, who is Rebecca Park's biological mother and lives at the place where she was last seen. Courtney reported that she was with Rebecca Park the prior night until approximately 8:30 p.m. when an unidentified friend picked Rebecca up from Courtney's residence. Courtney had picked Rebecca up from 1531 North 41 and a half Road to spend time together and get ice cream from Culver's. On the way to Culver's, Rebecca told Courtney she needed Tide Pods. So Courtney returned to her home to get Tide Pods for her. Courtney went to the residence, grabbed the Tide Pods, and came outside. When she came outside, Rebecca told her she was going to wait at the residence for a friend to pick her up. They waited a couple of minutes, and a black sedan with tinted windows pulled across the road from the residence. Rebecca proceeded across the road and got into the front passenger seat of the vehicle. Courtney did not know the specific make or model of the sedan or the number of occupants in the car. She could not tell if the driver was male or female. She said that after this, she did not see Rebecca again. Hey, Steph and Callie, thank you. Hey, Grandma Sherry. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate that. Hey, Nicole B. Hey, everybody coming in. All right. Keep going. I can't watch the chat while I'm reading, so just so you guys know. Courtney reported to Deputy Reed that she was contacted by Rebecca's fiance, Richard, regarding her location later that night. Courtney informed Rich she did not know where Rebecca was and that she had left with a friend. Courtney was contacted by Kimberly the morning of November 4th and was sent a screenshot of the location where Rebecca's phone was pinging at. Courtney told Deputy Reed that she proceeded down the road on W26 Road, where she found Rebecca's phone lying by the 2-track just off W26 Road. This location is less than 200 yards from 30 South 21 and a half Road. Courtney checked the phone and thought Rebecca may have dropped it when she was using the restroom. Courtney reported that she took the phone to Richard's residence on Tuesday and turned it over to him. One second, you guys. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go to the next page. The sheriff's office issued a press release on Tuesday, November 4th, identifying Rebecca as a missing person. She was also entered into the Law Enforcement Information Network as missing. On Wednesday, November 5th, Detective/Lieutenant Pisker met with Kimberly Park when she arrived at the Wexford County Sheriff's Office. Park had suggested that she might know where Rebecca is when she arrived at the sheriff's office. When I asked her about this, she played me a voice message from Courtney Bartholomew that said that Araya Clark had called her and said that 2 people in a car had pulled up to the Revival Center looking for Narcan and said that the pregnant woman that's missing, quote, got what she fucking deserved, unquote. Courtney stated that it was Serena Roosh that said something to Rusty, which is Araya's father. She also added, quote, I guess it was an older guy that your sister left with, unquote. When I asked Kimberly if she knows where she is at, she answers that the only older guy that Rebecca talks to is Stephen Belay and calls him a pervert. Park believes that Belay drives a black sedan, adding, quote, like Courtney said, unquote. Stephen was contacted and did not appear to have contact with Rebecca. During the interview with Kimberly, she showed Lieutenant a Blue View brand Model 4 cellular telephone, which says Rebecca Park's phone on the home screen. Kimberly reported that she has looked through the phone and observed that the last communications on the phone reporting a missed video call from Clunan14@gmail on Friday, October 3rd at 8:43. The last text was on Sunday, and the last phone call was to Courtney on Sunday. Kimberly identified that Rebecca uses her phone regularly and daily, and because she did not see any communications on Monday, November 3rd, she suspects that records of phone activity on the 3rd have been deleted. Kimberly reported that Rebecca is known to regularly delete communication records from her cellular phone. Kimberly, skip to a different page, sorry. From her phone. Kimberly then played another voice message on her phone from Courtney, who can be heard explaining, okay, when Randy passed away, I was told that your sister had something to do with it. That would give Randy's family a murder revenge thing because she was involved when it came to Randy. On the message, Courtney suggested, so Stephen Belay is connected to Randy's family. So I would definitely be looking at them. When I asked Kimberly if she trusted Courtney, she said, quote, not really, unquote. Steph, thank you for joining. Thank you. Oh, and Ash, thank you for rejoining, by the way. Thank you. Can't believe it's only been 5 months since I found one of my fave channels, thanks to Latisha. Thank you, Ash. And thank you for rejoining. Hey, Tony. No Twisted Stitches. There's new information with this, so we will be covering Stefan this week. It's just this affidavit was released, and I wanted to get right to it with you guys. Okay. Oh, Connie, thank you for being a member for 7 months. Thank you. Thank you for being here and listening. All right, let's keep going. Again, I can't watch the chat. Okay. It is chilly outside, you guys. All right, so Kimberly does not really trust Courtney. Imagine that. On Thursday, November 6th at 13:55, I guess that's Detective/Lieutenant Pisker. I'm really confused about that. Pisker, we'll just say Pisker obtained a search warrant for the Blueview 4 cellular telephone that had been entered as property in the incident as item 2054. The cellular device was submitted to the Michigan State Police Computer Crimes Unit on the same date. On Saturday, November 8th, members of All County Search and Rescue and Christian Aid Ministries Search and Rescue searched the area where Rebecca was last seen and the area where her cellular telephone was recovered from. No additional evidence was identified. During this time, numerous tips and leads were coming in and were being actively investigated. However, none located Rebecca Park. Due to reported activity on Rebecca's social media platforms, PIN register search warrants were obtained and served on her known social media accounts. However, no outgoing use was ever identified. On November 15th, Candace Freeman reported to Deputy Jacob, we'll just say Deputy Jacob, that her sister, Courtney Bartholomew, had texted her on October 28th that she had given birth to a son and was asking Candace for items for the baby. Now remember, this is one of the things like I kind of was thinking about at the beginning. Remember when all the talk about her mentioning the NICU and stuff, we couldn't confirm because apparently she had been mentioning having a baby in the NICU on these other, on her Facebook. And when I found it, I didn't see that. And she has a ton of social media accounts anyways. We couldn't confirm that. Well, listen to this. So Courtney's sister contacted authorities and said on October 28th, Courtney contacted her saying she had given birth to a son and was asking Candace for items for the baby. Through a series of text messages, Courtney said that she had given birth at 28 weeks. The baby was in the NICU in Grand Rapids, and she had named the baby Ashton Lee Bartholomew. Courtney told Candace, quote, he's supposed to come home this coming week. As long as he's doing better still, he will. On Monday, November 3rd at 2:52, Candace asked Courtney if she was able to bring the baby home, and Courtney told her, no, he did a backslide, but still hoping this week. On November 3rd, the day Rebecca went missing, okay? On November 3rd, listen to this, you guys. On November 3rd, 2025, at 11:17 p.m., Courtney sent Candace a text that reads, "My son passed away." On November 4th, at 11:18, Candace asked if it was because he wasn't strong enough or he had gotten sick. Courtney answered, "I don't know what happened. I just know he wasn't getting air," and added, "All I know is I watched my child die right in front of me." Candace asked if she was there when it happened, and Courtney answered, "Yes, I was." On Tuesday, November 4th, Courtney begins to discuss with Candace that Rebecca is missing. You're going to hear, because apparently the baby never. Let me just stop. We'll get to that, but just remember this, okay? So she tells her sister she had a baby that she wanted to bring home from the NICU in, where was it, Grand Rapids? And from Grand Rapids, and that the baby passed away, and that it passed away right in front of Courtney. And quote, "I don't know what happened. I just know he wasn't getting air." This woman is completely diabolical. Just unbelievable evil, like as evil as it gets. Okay, sorry. Yes, it is crazy. Unbelievable. On Tuesday, November 11th, preservation request for tower dump / area search for the tower in the location, and it gives latitude, longitude, between the hours of 1900 and 2200 on November 3rd were submitted to T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. Police contacted Courtney about another interview. Bartholomew was reluctant to come in, suggesting that Deputy Reed's interview with her had been thorough, but eventually agreed. On Tuesday, November 11th, Pisker conducted a recorded interview with Courtney. Initially, some background on Courtney and her biological children raised by the Park family is established. Courtney then reports how Rebecca and Richard were initially dating and they broke up. A relationship between herself and Rich then commences. Boom. There we go. And I've been telling you guys, we don't know if it's a fact until we hear it from police or from police documents, from court documents. And here we go. We hear that at least Courtney does tell police that, yes, she had a relationship with him. So Rebecca and Rich were initially dating. They broke up, and then a relationship between Courtney and Rich commences. Courtney reports she was planning to divorce Bradley. Courtney then became pregnant and was unsure who the father might be, Bradley or Richard. Because of this, she stopped her divorce approximately 2 weeks before the court date for the divorce. Courtney reports that Rich showed up at her house with the intention of shooting Bradley Bartholomew. After Courtney rejected Rich, he resumed his relationship with Rebecca. Oh, sure, Courtney. Courtney also reported that Rich had returned to her residence and raped her forcefully, causing her to have a miscarriage of the baby she was carrying. A report of this incident was made with the sheriff's office. However, Courtney said Rich was not charged. Yep. At least we have some facts here, you guys. I'm really thankful for that, because with all the different interviews and all the things, which, okay, can't really believe what comes from Courtney anyways, but I'm just glad to have some of this in black and white. Okay, let's continue. Courtney identified that she was concerned for Rebecca, as she was aware of how abusive and aggressive Richard could be, and has encouraged Rebecca to leave Rich. When Pisker asked about things leading up to the weekend, Courtney reported on Kimberly and Rebecca coming over on Saturday, November 1st to her residence. Courtney told Pisker about giving envelopes to Kimberly and Rebecca. These envelopes were later reported by both Kimberly and Rebecca to have been empty. Courtney said she was going to give them cash, but she was going to give Rebecca cash and didn't want Kimberly to feel left out. So she wanted Kimberly to set up an account so she could put money in an account for her. Courtney then reports having forgotten to give Rebecca some items for her baby while at the house. So she contacted Rebecca and then brought the items to her at Richard's house Saturday. Courtney then told Pisker that on Sunday, November 2nd, so the day before, she was supposed to pick Rebecca up to have milkshakes at Dairy Queen and get Rebecca laundry soap. These plans fell through when Rebecca went to Cadillac Hospital as she thought she was in labor. Courtney reported, and here's some more about things we were curious about for the actual facts of how this all happened here with the labor, with the scare of being in labor. Courtney reported that she and Bradley both visited Rebecca and Rich in the hospital that day. It is confirmed that Rebecca was not in labor, had only dilated to 1, and she was released from the hospital. Bartholomew drove Rebecca and Rich home from the hospital. Courtney said that when they arrived at Fowler's, he was throwing their bags, and Rebecca had whispered to her that Rich had been, quote, acting like a real big-ass mom, unquote. Courtney offered to take her home with her, and Rebecca requested that they just meet for milkshakes tomorrow. On Monday, November 3rd, Courtney said she went to pick Rebecca up between 6:30 p.m. and 7 at Rich's. Courtney reports that as they ride, Rebecca said she was tired, which she confronted by telling her she looked stressed. She claimed that Rebecca was upset with Rich, identifying that he had been hounding her to obtain money to fix his truck. Courtney talked about how she encouraged Rebecca to leave Rich, but said Rebecca was afraid to leave him. Courtney said when they arrived at her house, she gave Rebecca an envelope with $2,000 cash in it, and they discussed Courtney throwing her a baby shower. She identified that Rebecca didn't want a baby shower because she was afraid that CPS was going to take the baby, according to Courtney. Okay, because this is again what Courtney's telling police. Courtney said that while they were talking, Rebecca was texting on her phone and mentioned the possibility that she had 2 phones. Courtney said she went into the house to get laundry soap, and when she came back out, she said, I noticed that she deleted something, but didn't know what it was or which phone it might have been on. Courtney said she told Rebecca that she would take her back home, but Rebecca told her, hold on, sorry. Rebecca told her to hold on. She had someone coming in to get her. Courtney said she pulled out of her driveway and a car came up behind her. She identified that she didn't ask Rebecca who it was out of fear she would push her away, but Rebecca told her she would be back. Courtney said that the car had dark tinted windows. There was no plate on the car, but she could tell it was a Chevy. When questioned that social media was reporting the car had the taillights of an Impala, Courtney confirmed she was the source of that information. Courtney talked about someone Rebecca knows who has a Chrysler 300 also having similar taillights. Bartholomew didn't follow the car, as she again said it would upset Rebecca if she had. Courtney said that at about 11 p.m., she reached out to Kimberly to get Rich's number. 30 minutes later, she said she tried to call Rich, so she sent him a text that Rebecca had left with someone. Courtney confirmed that Rebecca was texting while they were together. Her next contact with Rich was Tuesday morning, and she reported telling him that she had given Rebecca $2,000. Courtney then said that Kimberly sent her the GPS location to Rebecca's phone, which she said she put into her phone, and it took her right to the phone. When I asked who went and got the phone, Courtney then identified who was identified as Bradley and herself. It was reported Bradley found the phone and then handed it to Courtney. Pisker confronted Courtney of an image she had sent to Rebecca of a check that was made out in her name for $18,000. She claimed that when her mother died, she was left money to do with what she pleased. Courtney confirmed that she sent an image of a check to Rebecca, but that she had not given the check to her. Courtney denied that there was a similar check made out to Kimberly. A statement that Courtney had tried to have this meeting prior had fallen through because she didn't have things in place that she needed to. Courtney said it was simply getting kids together at one time was what wasn't falling into place. When the officer confronts Courtney that the phone records for the phone that was found on the 2-track was not used to summon someone to pick her up, Courtney then identifies that there are possibly 2 other phones she uses. Of course. Courtney brings up names of other people she thinks may be involved based on rumors, specifically that Mike Haynes and Ashley Crowe's and Ashley Kay were supposed to help Rebecca get away from Rich. As the officer discussed phone location records with Courtney, she confirms that she picked Rebecca up between 6:30 and 7 and continued to her residence. Location data from Rebecca's phone supported this route of travel. When the officer confronted Courtney with the accusations that she killed Rebecca, she asked, "Why the fuck would I do that?" That's a quote, stating she would never hurt her daughter. During this interview, Courtney Bartholomew said she did not know where Rebecca Park was. When Courtney was asked if she had done anything to harm Rebecca, she again said she would not hurt her daughter. While discussing the pickup truck at her residence, here we go, you guys. Remember this, which I don't think we'll hear all about it. We're going to hear about this truck in this now and coming up, okay? Remember the truck that we talked about that the bounty hunter guy mentioned. While discussing the pickup truck at her residence that was reported to never move but had been moved recently, Courtney reported it doesn't have seats in it, but it was moved recently to make room to access the porch. Courtney said that Kimberly and Rebecca do not like Bradley Bartholomew. On Tuesday, November 11th, the officer conducted a recorded interview with Brad. He confirmed his telephone number. When asked about Rebecca, Bradley reported they don't get along. He explained that is due to his criminal history. He described Rebecca and Courtney's relationship as rocky. Bradley said he was not around on Monday when Rebecca was at the house. He identified that he was at my place and described living in the woods near Harrietta and Fish Hatchery. Remember, he's not allowed to be living with Courtney because of her there's someone who's under 18 that lives there. Listen to this. As the officer was attempting to confirm his presence there, Bradley said he was alone and his phone was with Courtney because her phone was about to be shut off. So what do you know? There's no way to confirm it because there was no one with him and his location would show that he was at Courtney's house, but he wasn't, you know. The truck at the house was discussed and identified as not having moved in years. Bradley said that he had been driving the truck up until October 21st when the license plate expired. When asked if the seats were out of the truck, Bradley confirmed that they had been. He explained a similar explanation that they are cleaning the truck up for Courtney's son Bentley to drive when he turns 16. When Bradley was asked when he found out that Rebecca Park was missing, he identified it was Monday night or Tuesday morning. He again denied being at the residence. Bradley told an officer that on Tuesday, November 4th, Courtney was in town and he was at the house with Bentley when Courtney texted him the location of where Rebecca's phone was. Bradley said he refused to go out there alone because, quote, "I'm not being accused of anything," unquote. When Courtney got home, they went out to look for the phone. He did confirm he was the one who found the phone and he handed it to Courtney. And he didn't know how Rebecca's phone ended up on the trail, but suggested she had walked that trail in the past. On Monday, November 24th, so 20 days later, Courtney comes to the sheriff's office and Detective Pisker began a recorded interview with her. Listen to this. There is a discussion about the TikTok live conversations. I asked Courtney, oh my goodness, I'm driving myself crazy. Just a second. Asked Courtney about a cellular device that a bounty hunter dropped off at the Clear City Police Department. She identified this phone was provided by Kimberly. During this meeting, asked Courtney about Kimberly's personal property in her vehicle. She confirmed that she was in possession of items that belonged to Kimberly. However, she didn't want to leave the items with me to return to Kimberly. On Monday, November 24th, Bradley was interviewed by a detective at the Michigan State Police Crime Lab. During his interview, Bradley reported that he is trying to protect Kimberly. He said that Kimberly took Rebecca down a 2-track behind the house. I'm sorry, I'm starting to yell, and stated, "I believe she's dead." Trying to protect Kimberly. Okay. And that's on November 24th. Remember, Rebecca's found the next day on November 25th. And it seemed like they wanted her to be found at that time, and they wanted it to be blamed on Kimberly. And I just want to say, you guys, the chat is stuck for me. No, there we go. It's moving now. Are you kidding me? I'm like, wait, is the chat stuck? Okay. Let's continue. Bradley Bartholomew said to the officer that he was present during a dinner with Courtney, Rebecca, and Kimberly on Saturday, November 1st. Bradley said that Kimberly had a private conversation with him, asking about the 2 tracks behind the house, and Kimberly stated she needed to get Rebecca, quote, out of the picture. They are full on trying to frame her. Courtney and Brad tried to frame Kimberly, straight up. We knew it. We could see it from a mile away on the TikToks. If you look at my live yesterday, I literally titled it that Courtney's vicious response to Kimberly, or what Kimberly said, or something like that, because vicious is a tame way to put trying to frame her for murder. Trying to frame one daughter for the murder of your other daughter that you actually committed. Let me see here. I'm just going to play a video or two because it's so much to read, and maybe this will give me just a second. So I saved a couple videos, right, from this situation. Let's just play this one. I don't remember what they were.
Kimberly, you can I know
we'll get right back to it.
So that way there's no more like confusions. But can you confirm if Courtney did give Rebecca $2,000 in cash?
Oh, I remember now. Listen to this.
Yes, she did.
And then when he had gotten out of the car, she did look at me and say, "Mom, you're going to have that $2,000, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay.
Just wait, Kelly."
And she suddenly said, "Stop, can I please get out because I have somebody coming to get me?"
She said, "Mom, hold up. I've got somebody coming and getting me." When the car pulled up.
Again, even her tone is so nasty when talking about Rebecca. And you guys were just taking a 2-minute break because it's a lot to read. And then we're going to get right back to reading the probable cause affidavit. And it's just getting started. Honestly.
She got out of the car. She opened the door back up and said, "Mom, I'll be back."
Hey, Lisa. I know this.
I
Mom.
didn't ask questions because with mine and my daughter's relationship, it's been rocky. And if I asked questions, that would have pushed her away. And that's not what I wanted. Okay, so what happened that night was I got to my daughter's between 6:30 and 7.
Good to see you.
She wanted Tide Pods so that she could finish getting everything ready for the baby, which she's excited for. And I brought her to my house. We sat in the driveway. We planned a baby shower. I come in the house, grabbed the Tide Pods, went back out to my car, went to go back out of my driveway, And she's like, Mom, hold up. I got someone coming to get me. And I'm like, pardon my French. I was like, what the fuck you mean you got somebody coming to get you? She's like, yeah, I got someone coming to get me. So I backed out on the road. Next thing I know, this car pulls up behind us. She gets out. She shuts the door. She opens the door back up and she's like, Mom, I'll be back. Okay. I'm trusting my daughter. She got into the car willingly on the passenger side. This car is black. The windows are completely blacked out. When they got up to my truck, they were creeping. By the time they got to my headlights, they took off. There was no plate on this car, and this car had a round circle lights. I pulled back into my driveway, come into my house, took my meds, crashed out for about 20 minutes because they make me crash out.
20 minutes.
Woke back up. Daughter's still not here. So about 11 o'clock, I get a hold of her sister, and I'm like, I need Rich's number now. She's like, why? What's going on? I was like, your sister left with somebody, and I don't know who the hell she left with. So I called Rich repeatedly so that I could try to get him up to try to go check her friend's house.
Hey guys, so my question is for Courtney. What time would you say, or roundabout, that she got into that vehicle that pulled up to get her?
8:30. It was 8:30 at night because I looked at my watch.
Okay.
Everybody keeps speculating, oh, it was 11:30. No, it was not. It was 8:30.
Now we know that by 11 o'clock, Courtney was texting her sister, letting her know that her baby that was in the NICU that didn't actually exist had passed away. By 11:17 it was, I think. But okay, thank you guys for allowing me to play that and take a break from reading so we can get right back to it. And I have a couple other ones too. We'll see. And if I don't take another break, we'll listen to them at the end. If you guys haven't watched from the beginning on this live, it's definitely one you want to hear from the beginning because, yeah, we've already had quite a lot. Yeah, they were doing research, and we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Okay, so let's keep going. So Brad does an interview with police and says that, Kimberly had said she wanted to get rid of her sister and that she had been, she had taken Rebecca down the 2-track and he believed she was dead. She wanted to get Rebecca out of the picture. Okay. On Tuesday. Now listen to this. Wait, you guys, because you are going to be shocked to find out who found her, because we thought we heard her biological dad. We heard searchers. We knew that Courtney had planned to search with local searchers and she was trying to frame Kimberly. I had been saying that just based on their interviews. You could tell. Kimberly goes on TikTok and says, she threatened me. And then immediately Courtney's out here just trying to blame Kimberly, saying Kimberly keeps talking about the 2-track. She wants to go looking on the 2-track. And then boom, she's found there. So listen to this. On Tuesday, November 25th at 2:16, Wexford County Central Dispatch received a 911 call from Courtney stating she had found a body covered with leaves that, quote, looks gutted, unquote. From Courtney. Wait, from Courtney Letterman. Now I'm reading it differently. I read it earlier thinking it was Courtney. But wait, let me keep reading. On the presence of Courtney. Oh my gosh, look, earlier, I don't know. I psyched myself out there. Let me keep reading. I'm glad I caught that, but still, let's keep going. So from Courtney Letterman, that she found a body with leaves that, quote, looks gutted, unquote. Wexford County Deputy Koponen responded to the area, observed the remains, and reported the deceased female has a tattoo above the left eye. I am so sorry. I apologize, you guys, because I totally took that information in wrong earlier. The deputy, though, reported that the abdomen area of the body appears to have been cut open. The tattoo located above the left eye is consistent with the Michigan driver's license images of Rebecca Park. Michigan State Police Trooper Cody Campbell was inside the residence of Courtney on Tuesday, November 25th, securing the residence until the Michigan State Police Crime Laboratory personnel could search the home based on a search warrant that had been authorized on that date. While in the presence of Courtney Bartholomew and Bradley Bartholomew, Courtney and Bradley were discussing amongst themselves loud enough for Trooper Campbell to hear. Courtney mentioned to Bradley that the seat cover from the Ford F-150 in the driveway had recently been burned and disposed of due to something having been spilled on it/them. Now remember, in the interview we heard that it was vandalized and that the seat cover was taken off of it. And now we're seeing that they told police it had been burned because of something that was spilled on it. A search warrant was served on T-Mobile for Bradley's cellular telephone number. They did show that Bradley was active in the area of, I still can't believe I read that wrong. I'm so sorry, you guys, but at least we fixed it. In the area of Courtney's home on November 3rd. Further, these records show device movement and lingering in the areas consistent with where Bradley and Courtney reported recovering Rebecca's cellular device and where her body was discovered on several occasions on Monday, November 3rd in the evening hours. These records take place after the records obtained from Rebecca's phone and network demonstrate her arriving in the area of their home shortly after 7 p.m. Additionally, records from Rebecca's phone extraction show locations consistent with the reported location of the recovery of the device. A search warrant was then served on Courtney's phone. The records that were produced pursuant to the search warrant show Courtney in the area of her home, and both Bradley and Courtney's records show them in communication with one another shortly after her arrival with Rebecca. Additionally, Courtney's phone records have activity consistent with her interview statements that she traveled to pick up Rebecca at Rich's, then transporting her to her house. Bradley's call detail records show the following calls of investigative interest. 6:12, 2 minutes and 2 seconds outgoing call from Bradley to Courtney. 7:30, a 57-second call from Bradley to Courtney. 7:33, a 54-second call from Bradley to Courtney. At the time of the call at 6:12, device network records show Bradley and Courtney's devices near the area of their home, and this precedes the activity of Rebecca's device coming into the area. The person filling out the affidavit is aware the calls at 7:29 and 7:33 again show Brad and Courtney's devices in the area of their home after Rebecca shows her arrival in the same area. Now, I will tell you guys, trigger warning, because we're about to hear about the autopsy. Oftentimes I don't like the trigger warnings with true crime. I think that's implied with the topic that we're discussing, but this is particularly tough. And can I apologize just one more time that I misunderstood and I almost gave you guys the wrong information, which just know that sometimes I'm human, we're all human, right? And it's okay to get stuff wrong, but we have to correct it. It's really important. So if I ever get something wrong, you guys correct me too, please. Okay. Good God, you guys, okay, here we go. An autopsy was conducted at Western Michigan University. There were 6 sharp force wounds in Rebecca's back, 2 to the right upper arm, 1 to the left trapezius, I can't say that area, 2 to the neck, and at least 2 to the face. The right side of the face also has a laceration and an irregular wound to the cheek of unknown etiology. The wounds to the neck are described as superficial and do not penetrate muscle or harm any vasculature. Most of the wounds to the torso are contained in soft tissue. One to the back enters the left pleural space but misses the lung. One to the right side of the back enters the right pleural space and does penetrate the right upper lung and cause a large pneumothorax. I think that's a collapsed lung, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but all major blood vessels are intact. Rebecca Parks' abdomen had incised wounds. The placenta was hanging from the open abdominal wound with attached umbilical cord, and the fetus was absent. The abdomen incision transcended the colon and the small bowel. Dr. Janes reported that Rebecca's stomach contained copious amounts of a blue-green chalky residue. There was also a thin film of subdural blood over the left cerebral hemisphere with focal subdural on the right parietal area. However, there was no subscapular or subgaleal. Oh God, you guys, listen, my education is not this extensive, so forgive me when I get these words wrong. Hemorrhage nor skull fracture is noted. The OA joint had marked laxity, but a posterior neck dissection showed no soft tissue hemorrhage. On Sunday, November 30th, a second search warrant was obtained for Bradley and Courtney's residence. Search warrants to seize, and remember when this happened. Isn't this because when they seized the vehicles, we saw footage of that, but search warrants to seize the 2007 Ford Escape 4-door SUV, red in color with a VIN they give the VIN, and a temporary registration plate registered to Courtney, a Ford F-150 pickup, white in color, that's that truck. The search warrants were served, and Bradley and Courtney were both taken into custody and transported to the Wexford County Sheriff's Office. I'm sorry, you guys. I know. It's tough. Okay. On Sunday, November 30th, they conducted a recorded interview with Bradley. Bradley was put on notice that Rebecca's death is a homicide, and this is a homicide investigation, and that there can't be any more lies. Bradley was read his Miranda rights, and he confirmed his understanding of the rights. He reported his knowledge that Courtney went to get Rebecca. They came to the house to get Tide Pods, and they were supposed to go get ice cream. He was at the house with Bentley. He admitted he lied during his first interview about being at the residence because of his sex offender registry status. Bradley is told that SOR violations are small in comparison to homicide, and he says that at the time, he didn't know this was a homicide. He reported Courtney had backed out of the driveway in the Ford Escape and then came back. He said at that time he had no idea where Rebecca was. He said he knew Courtney left with the white Ford and then came back. He reported that Courtney had told him that she and Rich were in the white Ford and they had a disagreement and there was blood on the dash. Courtney asked, now he's trying to blame Courtney. Courtney asked Bradley to clean it up, which he reported that he went out and wiped it down. He said that he didn't see any blood on the floor or in the seats, just splattered on the dash. He described that later there was white paint on the seats, and Courtney asked him to remove the seat covers, which he confirmed he did. He said he was unsure what he did with them, if they were thrown in the burn barrel or in the trash. Next, he said that Courtney was talking to him about how she and Rich did something horrible. But she wouldn't tell, and then you can't read the next word. He claimed that once the story of Rebecca came about her being missing, he began to put two and two together. Bradley reported that Courtney threatened if he said anything, she would make his life hell. Bradley identified that Courtney has tried to stab him with scissors in the past and charged with the assault, but the case was dismissed. Bradley clarified that Courtney had told him about something bad happening 5 to 6 days after Rebecca was missing, but claimed he wasn't sure what bad thing had been done. When asked about the story about the baby in the NICU, Bradley identified that she was supposedly adopting a baby, but he didn't see how due to his status as a sex offender. Bradley said that Courtney was alone when she got into the white Ford and that she returned 15 minutes later. He sent a text to Courtney to see if she needed him to come outside for anything, and she responded in the affirmative. It was now that he said that Courtney reported getting into a fight with Rich. Bradley said he never observed Rich on this date, and he did not observe any injury to Courtney. Returning to the something bad topic, Bradley was asked to continue that topic. He identified that Courtney is all over TikTok, and Kimberly was over to use Escape to deliver newspapers. He confirmed that Kimberly left personal items in the Escape and identified she did that all the time. When the lieutenant asked about anything else that Bradley wanted known before drilling down questions began, he said that Courtney was constantly talking to Rich. He agreed that he was also constantly talking to Kimberly. He reported he can't hear the conversations as they are all taking place by text. He agreed that she was also constantly talking to Kimberly. I'm sorry. He only knows it's them because he sees their names on her phone. Bradley is then confronted with records from carriers, cell phone carriers. He was asked about Courtney's phone that she had previously had that was said was no longer going to have service. Bradley identified that she had service restored, but was aware that she had conducted a factory reset on the phone. He was notified that a factory reset does not prevent access to records that were maintained by the carrier. Bradley said that he had Courtney's phone on Monday, November 3rd. It is pointed out that there are phone calls between both the phone he uses and the one Courtney uses while Rebecca is at the house. He passes these as simple calls checking on her comings and goings. He reports that he hasn't driven the truck since it parked and that it only had enough gas to get to the gas station. Lieutenant asked Bradley about his statement about the blood in the truck, confirming his knowledge that the truck has been seized, identifying if there's any blood of Rebecca found in the truck, there will be a big problem. Bradley is confronted if he thought Courtney had been lying to him about what went on, and he said he does. He suggests he can't see Courtney and Rich being together like that, as they haven't talked in over 2 years. Bradley confirmed there are no $18,000 checks. He did not know why Courtney sent images of the checks. He did say he spoke with Kimberly on Saturday, November 1st. He said she was asking about the 2 tracks behind the house. He denied that Kimberly told him she needed to get Rebecca out of the picture. He identified that Kimberly said this to Rich, who he identified as Courtney's cousin, Rich Fisher. Detective Hackman confronted that this is not what Rich Fisher told him when he interviewed him personally. Bradley reported that Kimberly is jealous of Rebecca, and he is aware that Kimberly has had a relationship with Rich in the past. So Rebecca, Kimberly, and Courtney have all had a relationship with Rich? I mean, which we wondered, but... Okay, sorry. I keep having to pause to blow my nose. Sorry for the TMI, but I think the little ones have passed a bug to me, and I'm outside in the freezing cold. So, all right, let me continue. Bradley reported being upset when Kimberly was on the internet saying that he and Courtney were responsible, making a statement that he doesn't understand how anyone could do that to a pregnant woman. He answered that he believes that Courtney and Rich would be capable of doing something such as this. When asked for what purpose, he gave different possibilities. Bradley agreed that he believes that Courtney is capable of slicing open her own flesh and blood and taking a baby and then the next word is gone because of the page number, agreed that Courtney is obsessed with wanting another baby in her care and custody. He also agreed that it was a good possibility she could attack Rebecca and cut a baby out of her. When the lieutenant asked if he remembered the Sunday that Rebecca was in the hospital, Courtney saying or texting, "Don't you dare have this baby in the hospital," and Bradley remembers somebody saying it, but not who was saying it. Bradley confirmed going to Rich's house on Saturday to take the gifts to Rebecca that Courtney forgot to give her. While discussing being upset that Kimberly had accused him, the lieutenant asked why he hadn't called him, and Bradley said Courtney had threatened him that she didn't want him involved. His explanation was that she didn't want to get incriminated or himself incriminated. Bradley began to say that he thinks Courtney has more to do with it than what she wants to claim. He said all the evidence is pointing to her. He suggests that he believes all the evidence would be in the white Ford. The blood he observed inside the truck is discussed and described. Bradley said that he removed the original seat covering about a week and a half after Rebecca went missing because it had white paint on it. When asked what he thought happened, he responded he thought Courtney was jealous of Rebecca. He agrees that Courtney would like to have another child. He also thinks that Rich wants to get back into a relationship with Courtney. Bradley agrees that he thinks that Courtney could point the finger at him as being responsible when we interview him. When Bradley is confronted with Courtney being in possession of the cellular device, when she went to pick up Rebecca, he claims he can't say she possessed it, but it was there at the house and he had it to call her. He then confirms Courtney did not have that phone when she went to Fowler's. Okay. The lieutenant asked Bradley what else he wanted us to know about, and he told us that Courtney has scalpels in her bedside stand, describing them as disposable scalpels for lancing cellulitis. Oh, gosh. Hey, Kimberly. Girl, buckle up because there's a lot. We've already went through a lot, and there's more to come. Bradley doesn't remember going anywhere on the morning of Tuesday, November 4th, other than to Fowler's to give him Rebecca's phone. Bradley confirmed that he had come to the hospital on Sunday, November 2nd, to bring Courtney her wheelchair, and he was driving the white Ford pickup. By the way, it's crazy because some probable cause affidavits will be 2 pages long. Barry Morpheus was like 100 pages long. This one's quite long in my opinion, but it's interesting, Everybody does things differently. Every officer is different. Every prosecutor is different. Every judge is different. Every courtroom is different. You just never know about some things. Bradley is given a break at this point in the interview. Oh, wait, I missed a line. Bradley begins to show some emotion about the possible outcome of this investigation. Then he's given a break. On Sunday, November 30th, they conduct a recorded interview with Courtney. Courtney has read her rights. Courtney identified that at the dinner at her house on Saturday, it was herself, Rebecca, Kimberly, Bentley, and that Brad was hiding. Oh my gosh. There we go. Brad was hiding in the truck. The lieutenant asked notified Courtney that this is a homicide investigation and the lies must stop. And if she lies, more charges will be brought. Courtney reported Bradley is hiding in the truck because the girls won't come over because they don't like him. If he's there, they won't come, which we had heard that before. She reported dinner ended at 7 to 7:30. On Sunday, November 2nd, she was supposed to pick Rebecca up and waited around until about 6:30. And Rebecca called to say she was on her way to the hospital. Listen to this. Courtney wanted to know if Bradley could hear her, and she was told he could not. She reported talking to Rebecca Sunday night about getting shakes on Monday. She said Rebecca asked her about the $2,000 and said Rich was upset about something. Courtney confirmed the trip to Rich's house on Saturday after dinner to drop off the gifts. When Lieutenant asked Courtney why she wanted to know if Bradley could hear her, she suggested the need to back up, saying she thinks she needs immunity. Just like Letitia, huh? Immunity. I want immunity. I need immunity. No, bitch. No. The lieutenant notified Courtney that the prosecutor is the person who can give immunity. Courtney suggests we get the prosecutor here, and the lieutenant says she will want to know what she has. Courtney said she will give us where the knife is and where the baby is, that she will give it all to us. When the lieutenant confronts Courtney that she has guilty knowledge, she responded that she has been threatened, her child has been threatened, her home has been threatened, and she is done. She renews her request for immunity and then asks for witness protection. Sergeant Voss explains, we can't offer her immunity. Same way Al Stout couldn't offer Letitia immunity. Hold on one second. Christy says, love how quickly they turn on each other. I know, right? They turn on your kids, turn on your husband, turn on your wife, just anybody and everybody. Rich, turn on her fiance, throw him under the bus. When the lieutenant asks Courtney if the baby is alive, she shakes her head in the negative. Sergeant Voss asked Courtney about her prior statement that Bradley hides in the truck. He asked her where he hides, and she identified in the cab. Courtney asked if Bradley confessed. Sergeant Voss reported he told us a lot of stuff. Courtney confirmed Bradley is using the phone with the number 550 and hers is 429. She confirmed she had the phone on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. She said the phone was taken on Monday night, and she was told to go back in the house. She renewed her request to contact the prosecutor. Listen to this, you guys. Oh, God. Trigger warning. Sergeant Voss again told her, we need to know what she knows to take it to the prosecutor. When he suggests an example that she will even tell us where the baby is, she interrupts and says, quote, in the garbage, in a blue cooler, unquote. When asked where, she reported, in the GFL. Courtney said, he said he put him in a black bag. The cooler's gone. The cooler is Brad's work cooler. He put him inside the cooler and drove him up and down the road looking for a GFL that wasn't mine. When Sergeant Voss asked why, Courtney reported that it was related to Bradley going to jail last year when Fowler turned him in. She explained that it's all retaliation. She identified the night when they went home after their last interviews. She confronted him about his examination and his failure. Sergeant Voss asked Courtney which vehicle he used to get rid of the body, and she identified her white truck. She is then asked how he got her in a position to kill her. She explained how she pulled into her driveway. She had notified him she was on their road. She explained that she got to the house and talked to Rebecca for a few minutes, and Bradley walked up and pulled her out and said, quote, I want to talk to you, unquote. Courtney described that the white truck was setting out by the road and explained that she didn't think anything of it. Brad was supposed to be her stepdad. Courtney wanted to know where they were going, that Brad told her to take her ass in the house and don't worry about it. She said she went into the house because she didn't think he would hurt her. Bradley is reported to have returned to the house at about 11:30 and told her he had taken Rebecca home. Courtney confronted him that he had not, and he told her he had, and he would call her in the morning. Courtney asked him for her phone. When she reported he told her he was out in the shed, and he went out to get it. It was out in the shed. Courtney reported calling Rich to tell him to call her back ASAP, and that while Brad was watching her, she told Rich that, "Dude, your old lady left with some guy," or Bradley would backhand her. Courtney confirmed to the lieutenant that the story about the black car was made up and never happened. Asking her to continue, she reported Kimberly sending her coordinates to Rebecca's phone and asking Bradley why her daughter's phone would be right across the road, and his response was, "I don't fucking know." She asked Bradley to take her to the phone, and he took her right to it. She said that phone was, quote, "exactly where the coordinates is," unquote. She said it was out in the open and appeared like someone had just set it down. They took the phone directly to Rich's, but before their arrival, she said that Bradley told her, "I'm telling you right fucking now, do not say a fucking word." Kimberly got the phone from Rich, and Courtney reported that Kimberly had called her and she was taking the phone to the cops. She said Kimberly called her at 9 on Tuesday, 9 p.m. to tell her this. When asked to continue, Courtney identified that in her second to last drawer in her bedstand, she has razor knives that she uses to nick open her cellulitis so they will drain. She reported that one was gone, which she said she knew because she counted them due to a teenage boy living in her home. Courtney agreed the knives are like scalpels. When she confronted Bradley about the missing knife, she answered, "He didn't say anything then." The lieutenant confronted her that her use of the word then means he must have said something later, and she reported it was after the body was found. Courtney said she kept asking Bradley where her daughter was, saying he answered, quote, "You'll find out soon enough," unquote. She goes on to report that after returning from his last interview, he told her about Kimmy, was asking about the woods behind the house to go trail riding. Courtney said that Kimberly will not talk to Bradley ever alone. She reported trying to get Rich to take Kimberly's bag to her, and Bradley said, "You can't have that. You're not taking her bag." He said, "Nobody's taking this bag." Courtney said she realized Kimberly's wallet was in the bag, questioning why would he want Kimberly's wallet. The lieutenant confronted Kimberly that he had asked her for Kimberly's property while she was at the sheriff's office on Tuesday, and she refused. She explained that she was told not to and she didn't want to get her ass beat. She reported that on Tuesday, the 25th in the morning, Bradley took the truck and went west and was gone for 20 minutes. When Bradley came back, she asked him if he had hurt her daughter, and he told her, "No, I didn't hurt her." Courtney said the same day Rebecca's body was found. Courtney said on November 26th in the morning, she confronted Bradley and asked him what he did. She reported he told her, "I'm going to tell you once, and I'm going to tell you, and you're fucking drop it, and you're going to fucking drop it, and you're going to shut the fuck up." He's like, "I'm the reason your fucking daughter's not here, that your life is upside down right now." When she asked him why, she said, Bradley said, "Rich fucked with the wrong motherfucker." Oh God, trigger warning again. I hate to do it, but just this whole thing is awful. So she agrees this is all a revenge plot. Courtney said that when she asked him what he did to her daughter, Bradley said, "I slit her fucking throat. The bitch deserved it." She goes, this is what Courtney is saying to police. She goes on to say that he said Rich deserved it too, and it just happened to be your daughter that's going to pay for it. Courtney said when she asked about her grandson, she said, Bradley said, "Oh, I stuck him in a cooler, stuck him in a trash bag, and threw him in the trash." My God. The lieutenant asked Courtney that if Bradley is paying Rich back, why cut the baby out? And she said, because if he would have left the baby in there and somebody found her before, he would have survived, he would have thought. Courtney was asked why not just cut the baby out and take its life. Why take it? And she said he told her the baby wasn't breathing when he pulled him out. Again, she asked why he'd take it. Now she answers, it was because he didn't want Rich to see they were together. She admitted she didn't know what that meant. When asked about where the baby is now, Courtney said he put him in a blue cooler, in a trash bag, and into a GFL container. She confirmed that she is talking about a residential GFL trash receptacle. Courtney said she was never at the location where the body was found because he wouldn't let her. She doesn't know how many times he went to the location. When asked if she was killed at the location she was found or at the end of her driveway, she answered she doesn't know, but it wasn't in her driveway because he pulled away quickly with her. Courtney said he walked out of his truck and not the house to get her out of the truck, confirming that it was from the escape and into the F-150. So that's how they know they forced her into another vehicle. When the lieutenant, or that's how, because remember we were told that maybe there's more to it, but when the lieutenant reminded Courtney that she knew where the knife was at, she said he threw it in a dumpster at Cadillac Shores. When asked when he had done that, she first announced that it was her hunting knife. She said it was probably like a week after that the knife was put in the dumpster. She did not know what happened to the disposable scalpel, adding that she had no clue and wished she knew. Now, Sergeant Voss asked Courtney what she was looking for in an immunity agreement, what she was afraid of, and then confronted her, and that she had provided a lot of misinformation to police. She reassured us that she would cooperate, quote, the whole way, unquote. Lieutenant Pisker pointed out her obstruction of the investigation, and she agrees. When asked about the seat covers, Courtney said Bradley burned them. She also said Bradley went out and cleaned the truck, specifically mentioning the dash. She described that the cloth was burned and the bucket was taken back into the house. Courtney didn't think the floor in the truck was cleaned. Courtney was asked about the Kimmy stuff, and she suggested that Kimberly doesn't know anything. She was just trying to feel important. You fucking bitch, dude. Excuse my language, but damn it, man. You are one evil bitch. You don't remember trying to blame it on her, like to police and everything, and now it's just, no, she doesn't know anything. She just wanted to feel important. You're the one who blamed her. God, I can't stand this lady. Sergeant Voss confronted Courtney that she was the person who told us recently that Kimberly was in the black car. She reported that Bradley came up with the story about Kimberly. Courtney said that she knew that Kimberly told us that she hit Courtney, that she hit her and hit her body. When asked how she knows that Kimberly told us this, Courtney said that she told Ashley and reported Ashley as Rich's baby mama. Courtney said that all Kimberly did was lie to the police and had no involvement. She also, remember, we know that that Kimberly did tell police that Courtney hit her and, the seizure story. She said that Rich was also not involved, but did say she didn't know if he deleted anything from the phone or not. Pisker asked about a text about not allowing anyone from the state of Michigan on her property, and Rebecca saying they should talk about that so she is clear on what that means. Courtney denied sending such a message. Sergeant Voss asked when she first learned what actually happened, and she said it was after her body was found. Sergeant Voss asked how Bradley told her how he killed Rebecca, and she said, he told me that he slit her fucking throat. That's a quote. That is a quote from her. Quote, he told me that he slit her fucking throat, unquote. God, she is nasty. Okay. God, she's nasty. I cannot believe she would speak about her in that way. When asked about how she told him that he cut the baby out, she said, he had one of my scalpels. She denied that he said how he did that and then said, he just said that I cut him out. That was it. And that's all he said. That's another quote. Sergeant Voss asked about the baby getting cut out, being put in a garbage bag and put in a blue cooler, what he said about that. She said, he just said he took him, put him in a garbage bag, stuffed him in a cooler, and threw him in a dumpster. She knows that it was that specific cooler because his work cooler is gone. She shows the size as a lunchbox size cooler and described it as a soft-sided cooler with hard plastic inside to keep the side supported, and it has a black strap. Courtney reported the garbage bags came from her house, and she knows this because she counts her garbage bags, and she noticed that 2 of them are gone. She counts her garbage bags. Hey, Coco and True Crime. Yes, you definitely got to listen from the beginning. But I'm going to I'll share the link with you guys as soon as I'm done to the post that has these attached, if anybody wants to read through them. The hunting knife is described by Courtney as being green, having serrated blade on one side and a flat blade on the other, and is a fixed blade, not a folding knife. She is sure that Bradley used that knife. It was purchased at Walmart within the last year. When asked about missing items from Kimberly's purse, she doesn't know any. She denied Bentley knows anything. Then on Sunday, they begin a second recorded interview with Bradley. Lieutenant Pisker notified Bradley that Courtney was putting it all on him. He broke down details that Courtney had provided. Pisker explains how the investigation has come down to involving himself and Courtney. Sergeant Voss explains how we believe it went down and how evidence will support the investigation. An appeal to Bradley was made that he needed to tell the truth. Bradley is confronted with how much gas he put in the truck on Sunday after leaving the hospital, and he says $5. When asked about the information he feels we should know that we haven't already discussed, Bradley reports that he knows his lunch cooler is missing and describes it as being blue and thinks it's an Oregon Trail brand. He says it's big enough to hold an 8-pack of pop bottles. His description of the cooler is basically the same as Courtney's. He says the cooler's been missing 2.5 weeks. They're all blaming each other, Pussycat. I'm telling you, girl, it's went from blaming Kimberly, Bradley blaming Kimberly, to her and Bradley blaming each other. Bradley is not aware of Courtney counting their garbage bags because of Bentley's use of them. We confront Bradley. Oh, my goodness. Just a second. Oh, God, this is about to get rough. We confront Bradley that she is blaming him for dumping the body and putting the fetus in his lunchbox. It is explained that she is attempting to place the blame on him. Bradley is confronted with the statement he made in his first interview that Rebecca was stabbed. Sergeant Voss asked him about that statement again and how he knows she was stabbed. Pisker pointed out that both he and Courtney have reported on the scalpel, and you don't need to make a stabbing motion with a scalpel to slice someone open. It is pointed out that Courtney said he is threatening her, including in the parking lot prior to them leaving for their interviews on Monday. It is also shared with him that she identified that it was revenge for Fowler turning him in last year, to which he responded, "That's bullshit." It is explained that when Courtney had said about why the baby was cut out of Rebecca during a revenge murder doesn't make sense. We remind him of the NICU story and her attempts to get custody of Kimberly and Rebecca's children. Remember the post I showed you where she's like talking about my daughter just gave her kids to the state? Yeah. Bradley begins to tell us, I'm sure Courtney stabbed her because she did have a hunting knife. He reported the case for the knife went into the trash bin and thinks it might still be in the bin. He identified that the knife went into the trash at Cadillac Shores. He reports that Courtney is the one who cut the baby out of Rebecca. He confirms that he witnessed this and it had taken place right where she is laying out on the trails behind the house. He confirms that is the reason he had told an officer to check the trails behind his house. He reported that he knew Rebecca had a bunch of leaves on her because Courtney buried her in leaves where she was found. Bradley confirmed that a scalpel from the bedroom was used. When he asked if the baby was alive when he was cut out, he responded no. He confirmed that it was just the two of them that were present. When Sergeant Voss asked when she stabbed her, where did she stab her, and Bradley said in the truck. When asked what location on Rebecca's body had Courtney stabbed her, he responded he didn't know as he had jumped out of the truck. Bradley reported that Rebecca had gotten into the white truck voluntarily. He confirms that the plan to get the Tide Pods was legitimate and he was unaware that the plan was to stab her. Bradley denied there was a plan of this. While in the pickup, Bradley said he was driving, Courtney was in the passenger seat, and Rebecca was in the middle. He claimed not to know that Courtney had told Rebecca to get her into the truck. Initially, Bradley was in the house with Bentley, and he said he went outside to get away from everything so he didn't have to worry about Rebecca coming in. He denied getting a phone call from Courtney that they were in the driveway. When he got outside, Courtney and Rebecca were in the Escape, and Courtney had said she blew out a tire on the Escape, so they got in his truck. From here, they get on the trail to the woods because the truck doesn't have a valid plate. Bradley said that Courtney was mad because Rebecca was always bad-mouthing her and wouldn't give her a chance to be a mom. Bradley confirmed that Courtney wanted the baby for herself. Despite Courtney wanting the baby, Bradley said it was unrealistic to expect that Courtney would be allowed to adopt the baby. Bradley described that the actual stabbing began when Courtney just grabbed the knife and started stabbing at her. The knife had been down on Courtney's right. He said she stabbed her in the chest as far as he knew, but he jumped out of the truck when Courtney started swinging, so he wasn't sure. Good God, you guys, this is just pure evil. My Lord, it's hard to comprehend. Bradley knew that they were on the trails and said he could take officers to the scene. Sergeant Voss asked at what point did they realize Rebecca is dead, and he identified that it was after Courtney cut the baby out of her. He said that Courtney tried CPR on the baby. Bradley said Rebecca was not in the truck when Courtney cut the baby out of her. He said Courtney tricked her to get her out of the truck and made her start walking after she had already been stabbed. Rebecca walked behind the truck but is unable to run due to her pregnancy. When Sergeant Voss asked what Courtney did to kill Rebecca, he explained that Courtney had Rebecca lay down as she was still alive, and she cut the baby out of her. Bradley said he was beside the trail telling Courtney she doesn't need to do that. That's not right. Sure he was. They did not have the bag or the cooler and the baby is eventually put in at this time. Now the baby is cut out. Bradley said they just left Rebecca there. He identified he couldn't tell if she was dead or not. Courtney decided they should head to the house, and Courtney is holding the baby on her lap as Bradley drives. Bradley said the baby never took a breath, and he never heard the baby cry. It took 5 minutes to get back to the house. Bradley stated that Courtney took the baby into the house and into her bedroom where she is trying to perform CPR on the baby, which is on a towel on the bed. He also said he tried to perform CPR on the baby by doing chest compressions and breathing into his mouth. This went on for 15 minutes after they arrived at home. Bradley reported that Courtney went to the kitchen, got a garbage bag, and placed the baby in a garbage bag and went outside with the baby. He identified the cooler was in the bed of the white truck, and he saw the baby go into the cooler. He explained that the baby went into the cooler because the cooler can be zipped up and it had the baby in it, and dispose of the cooler and not be seen. Bradley said that the same night he is with Courtney, who is now driving the truck, and they went on disposal of the knife first, and they put the baby in a GFL tote at a house north of their residence where there had been some logging done recently. Bradley denied burning the seat covers from the truck and said Courtney burned them. He said he cleaned the inside of the truck using a gray bucket and some bleach and water. He denied cleaning the floor and believes there will be blood on the floor of the truck. Bradley denied placing the phone on the 2-track, but again said he found the phone on the 2-track. He did agree that he had the 550 phone on his person at that time. on Monday, November 3rd. Sergeant Voss confronts Bradley that if Courtney told him to do this, we want him to tell us now. He denies that he stabbed Rebecca. When Pisker asked Bradley about the card found with Rebecca, he said he didn't know anything about it and couldn't recall what it was, but he knew it was on social media. He did not see a card when he left the area. He also did not see another weapon or tools when he was at the scene or anything else. Bradley doesn't know if anyone has been to the scene where Rebecca's body was since she was killed, and he denied that he has been back to the scene. When Bradley was asked about Rebecca not having shoes on, he appeared surprised by that. Bradley gives a description of where Rebecca's body was in relation to the trail and where things occurred. He denied that Courtney had asked him to position the truck so the truck lights would assist. He said the lights shining around the side of the front of the truck was enough illumination for Courtney to cut the baby out. When he left, the body was still on the same hill. Courtney covered Rebecca with leaves but denied branches were placed on her. At the time, the baby was on a towel next to Courtney. Questioning the presence of a towel, Bradley is asked if he thinks Courtney planned this, and he said, "I have a feeling she did," but never told him of a plan. Psst. Bullcrap. The GFL is a trash collection. Apparently, like residential, like just one of the trash cans owned by the trash company at a residence, is the way I understand it. While discussing if there was blood on any of the clothing he or Courtney had been wearing, he identified that when they got home, Courtney changed into a nightgown. Previously, he had said they had gone out and disposed of the baby and the knife that night. Now, when asking about this, Bradley said that the baby stayed in the cooler that night on the back porch. He now reported it was Wednesday, November 5th, when the items were placed in dumpsters, specifically because Thursday is garbage day. Good God. He said that it was Courtney who placed the cooler with the baby in it in the garbage tote. I just want to say, like, this is really tough. This is tough to read. It is tough to digest. It is tough to talk about. It is tough to think about. If you need a second, if you have to walk away, take a second. For me, when I leave here, I will go watch something that is not true crime related at all. And I recommend trying that as well. This is a lot to take in, and it will stick with you sometimes. So just wanted to say that. He said it was Courtney who placed the cooler with the baby in it in the garbage tote. They were in the escape when they discarded the knife and the baby. Bradley said one of the things that he believes Courtney said after she couldn't revive the baby was, quote, "The bitch killed my baby," unquote. Courtney said that. "The bitch killed my baby." Bradley reported that he watched Courtney. The knife was placed in the glove box of the Ford Escape, and he believes that there will likely be blood located in the glove box. Then, after this conversation with Bradley, they go and talk to Courtney. Okay? Again, a second recorded interview with Courtney. As she enters the interview room, Courtney reports she's ready to go home. "You stupid, stupid, stupid bitch. God. Oh, I can't stand her. I bet you are ready to go home and you will never go home again. Ever. You will never, ever, ever leave behind those bars again except for to go to the courthouse and go to the funeral home, bitch. That's it. Or the next prison." God. As she enters the interview room to speak with police, Courtney reports she's ready to go home. When it's pointed out that she is saying it's all Bradley when asked what she thinks Bradley has been saying, she reported he's probably saying it's both of them. And we confirm her statement and say that we know they are both present. Courtney denies that she wanted the baby for herself. She admitted that Bradley brought the baby to the house and told her that the baby was not breathing. Courtney said she told him to call 911, but Bradley said they weren't doing that. She denied getting involved and said it was because she has Bentley and can't put herself in a situation like that. Courtney reported that the day the drones were flying around, the baby was in the metal shed out in the back. Courtney said she knew that Bradley was going to try to pin this on her because he had told her, "Bitch, I'll take you down with me." Courtney told us that Bentley can prove she was home on the 3rd. Oh my God. Remember, on her Facebook, she posted a video of her son saying that he saw his mom when he went to bed and when he woke up, that she was home. He, giving him medicine. Courtney is confronted with her explanation that Rebecca willingly got into the truck with Bradley to go for a ride, that he then murdered her and cut the fetus out. When confronted with cellular telephone data and location data records, Courtney announces that Bradley had taken her phone so she couldn't call the police. Yeah, so when asked why her phone is going right along with Bradley, from location to location or whatever, "Oh, he took my phone so I couldn't call police." Okay. I can't stand a stupid fucking liar like this. Excuse my language, but number one, I cuss a lot. So if you're going to be a viewer of my channel, you might have to come to, that might have to be okay. But number two, nothing makes me more mad than the type of liar who is so skilled at lying and so manipulative that as the facts and the details change, they try to change their story. And some of them do it skillfully in a way that you may not realize at first, right? Some of them are terrible at it. But when you are literally changing and molding your story as you go based on, it's just so annoying. I can't stand people like that. Let's see. Okay. Courtney is confronted with her version of events being difficult to believe. Eventually, Courtney said she's going to tell us what happened. Quote, "Brad took her. He brought the baby back. I tried. I didn't. I couldn't. I tried. I tried to save my grandson," unquote, and began to cry. Sergeant Voss asked how Bradley took Rebecca, and Courtney said he pulled her out of the car and she got in the truck. Courtney admits that she told Rebecca she was going to come with her. She places herself in the truck on the passenger side. Rebecca is in the middle and Bradley is driving. Bradley has the knife, according to her. I keep having to pause. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. From the house, they drove to where Bradley ended up stabbing Rebecca. She claimed not to know Rebecca was going to die that night. Courtney places Bradley across S21.5 road from their house as she is arriving with Rebecca. Courtney admits she knows something is going to go down because Bradley is on foot across the road waiting for them to arrive. She reported that Bradley approached the vehicle by just walking up to her on her side, grabbed Rebecca by the arm and got her out of the Escape, and she willingly gets into the pickup to go for a ride after he told Rebecca, "Your mom's going with us." From the house, they drive to where Rebecca gets stabbed. Courtney said that Bradley told Rebecca to get out of the truck while Courtney stayed inside. Rebecca is taken to the rear of the truck where Bradley stabbed her. At first, she said she assumed that he stabbed Rebecca because he came back with the knife all bloody. When Sergeant Voss asked Courtney at what point did she cut the baby out of Rebecca, she answered, "I didn't. He did, and he handed him to me." Courtney also said the baby wasn't breathing and she didn't hear him cry. Courtney claimed to have never gotten out of the truck because she didn't have her crutches or her wheelchair. She again claimed that this was a revenge plot because she had a sexual relationship with Rich and because Rich got Bradley put in jail. She claimed that Bradley wanted to hurt Rich. When confronted with the report that she stabbed Rebecca while driving down the road, Courtney denied it. When asked how all the blood got in the truck, she answered it was from the knife and then suggested Rebecca got back in the truck. Eventually, Courtney admitted that she cut the baby out of Rebecca in an attempt to save him so she could take him to Rich. See how she's changing it again? Oh, she's the hero, you know. She did cut the baby out, okay? She'll admit it. She is the one who did successfully cut the baby out. Because I said try, and I don't want to say try. She actually did more than try. She did it fully, right? But she only did it, according to her, to save him. Like, what? When she cut the baby out, Courtney said that Rebecca was still conscious and Bradley was holding the knife to her throat. She told Rebecca to lay back, quote, "Your baby is gonna die," unquote. Courtney denied that Rebecca had been stabbed while in the truck. Revisiting the driveway, Sergeant Voss asked if Bradley held the knife to her throat to get her into the truck, and Courtney nodded her head in the affirmative. Of course, while in the truck, Bradley put the knife down by his side. During the ride, Sergeant Voss asked what is said to Rebecca, and Courtney said she told her everything is going to be okay. Courtney said she promised that Bradley wasn't going to hurt her. When they get to the area where this happens, Bradley pulled Rebecca out of the truck and he spun her around and stabbed her in the back, quote, 4 or 5 times. Bradley brings Rebecca to her side of the truck and is sitting next to the door, and Bradley ordered Rebecca to lay back. Courtney said she told Rebecca that if she doesn't lay back, her baby is going to die. Courtney looked in the truck and saw the scalpel, so she hurried up and did it, but her grandson wasn't breathing. Courtney said she started her incision along her belly, and Bradley told her to cut downward. It would be easier. Courtney reported that Rebecca is still talking at this time, telling her to hurry up and asking if he's out. When she said she told Rebecca he was about out and that Rebecca told her to save him, when she got the baby out, Courtney said she had dental floss from the dash and she had put it in her pocket because she knew she would have to tie off the umbilical cord. She reported tying off the umbilical cord the best that she could. Once the baby was out, she said that Bradley slit Rebecca's throat with a knife. Next, she said that Bradley used a cord from the snowplow on the truck to hook her baby to the truck, and then he pulled Rebecca down the bank, maybe 20 feet, pulling her back and off the road. She said he then covered her with leaves. We're almost done, you guys. Courtney said the towel was in the truck already, but she didn't know how the scalpel got in there. Courtney talked about how she would have come to the sheriff's office if she had been able to give the baby to Rich to report what happened. Discussing this, she claims that since this happened, she hasn't been able to get away from Bradley. When reminded that on Monday she was in Mount Pleasant and he was in Grayling, she could have said something then. Hey, Christy Yates, thank you for joining. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Courtney confirmed that after she was stabbed, Rebecca never got back in the truck. She was asked how the blood got into the truck, and Courtney reported it was from the umbilical cord, making blood flat all over. Courtney said she never stabbed Rebecca. She was only responsible for trying to save her grandson. When asked if she thought she could have tried to save her daughter, Courtney said she couldn't. When asked how many times she talked to Bradley on the ride to her house from Rich's, she reported it was only once. Lasted 10 minutes. When Pisker confronted Courtney with the 2 incisions she admitted to having made to remove the baby, he asked her if she thinks Rebecca would have survived those wounds. She said no, probably not. Courtney admitted that about 1 to 2 months prior to this having happened, Bradley researched the procedure for getting a baby out. Courtney said Bradley, 1 to 2 months prior, by the way. Courtney said Bradley put the items in the dumpster, but she was present in the Ford Escape for both. Courtney is asked whose idea it was to leave items at the crime scene, and she said it was Brad's. She then identified that the items were Kimberly's debit card and a razor knife. What pieces of shit. Courtney reported these items were placed after Kimberly went on social media saying Courtney and Bradley were responsible for the purpose of framing Kimberly. So she admitted to that. When pressed on the debit card, Courtney said it belonged to James Mercer, not Kimberly, and the card came from Kimberly's backpack. She said he used one of the plastic bags from her backpack to keep from getting his fingerprints on it. These items were suspected to have been placed by Bradley the next day before Rebecca's body was recovered. She said he left with the escape that day for about 20 minutes. Detectives asked Courtney to provide information that isn't already known that can verify her statements, and she said, quote, Brad said it was his, unquote, in reference to Rebecca's baby. Now, when it is questioned that they don't like each other, Courtney said, yes, they do. You stupid. Revisiting the conversation she had with Bradley a month prior about C-section, she reported that he looked it up on his phone. When asked why they were having that discussion, Courtney answered, because that's what he said was going to happen. She said he told her he was going to cut the baby out of Rebecca right in front of Rich. Courtney said she brushed it off. When Lieutenant Pisker commented on Courtney's story about having delivered a premature baby that was down in the NICU, she denied it and suggested it was a friend's baby that she was thinking about giving up. And she is being confronted with the obviousness that there was a plan for this to happen. Courtney said that Bradley had told her to pull straight in, but she didn't. She turned the corner in her driveway instead. Questioning why he told her to pull in straight, Courtney reveals that Bradley had told her if he was going to do anything, it would be right there. When he does grab Rebecca, Courtney tries to get him to stop, but she said he had the knife to Rebecca's throat, and he ordered everyone to get in the white truck. While in the truck, Rebecca slid over to Courtney, asking what was going on, and she said she reassured her. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tongue-tied. She said she reassured her that Bradley just wanted to talk. Courtney described that Rebecca was calm after just having a knife held to her throat to get her in the truck. And that is that. Okay, just double checking something. Oh my gosh, you guys, there was so much information there, but it was so much reading. Like, it's really hard to read like that for that long. So I'm glad that we're done. Shoo. Good God, you guys, that was horrific, though. It was absolutely horrific. Worst bedtime story ever. But you know what? It is hard to read and it's hard to digest. And like I said, you got to walk away sometimes for a little bit. But here's the thing, too. I feel like we owe it. We owe it to Rebecca to know the truth, to listen, to sit through it. We don't have to live through it. She did. Unfortunately, she didn't live through it, but she had to experience that. She's the one who had to get stabbed and betrayed, right, by her biological mother, who, you know, seemed like she was protected from her until she was 18, and then she was allowed to contact her, and this happened. You know, it just, I think we owe it to her and anybody else, like in our society, right, that something like this happens to look for the truth, to find the truth. And so, as hard as it is, you know, I don't mind to do it, but hey, no madness. Just good Lord, my goodness, the way that they sat there and blamed each other, they're just disgusting. And let's not forget, for anybody that came in late, let me just remind you of what was at the beginning, okay? I got to find about Courtney's sister. So we didn't know Courtney had a sister, right? Candace is her name. Let me tell you what Candace had to say, just in case you missed the beginning, but definitely want to listen to it. Matter of fact, no, let me share it with you so you can read it for yourself if you want. But let's just take a look at this. On November the 15th, Candace Freeman reported to police that her sister Courtney had texted her on October 28th that she had given birth to a son and was asking Candace for items for the baby. Okay. Apparently, she told him he was in the NICU. He was supposed to come home this coming week as long as he's doing good. Okay. Then she said, no, he did a backslide, but still hoping this week. That was on November 3rd, before anything happened during the day at 2:00 in the afternoon. Then that same day, okay, so we know this is the day Rebecca is murdered by Courtney and I said Rich and Bradley, right? And we know that it's probably before 11:30 for sure. So at 11:17, Courtney sends her sister a text that says, "My son passed away." On Tuesday, November 4th, Candace asked if it was because he wasn't getting strong enough or if he had gotten sick. Listen to this part. And I said, remember this in the beginning. Courtney answered, I don't know what happened. I just know he wasn't getting air. All I know is I watched my child die right in front of me. Sorry, you guys. Yes, I'm okay. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so that is that. I'm going to. Sorry about that. Yes, I know I was muted. I did. I apologize, you guys. But should I play the last couple videos before we go that I had saved that we were going to look at? Or, I might as well because I can't really remember what they were. But let's go over to TikTok. Let me see. I liked a couple videos. It wasn't this one. This is another TikTok live. So remember we had talked about there were different TikTok lives out there that we hadn't seen. These are them at the driveway again. Oh shoot!
I
wasn't even
did
showing y'all.
something
Sorry.
when I never did anything.
Okay, again, you
She
don't
was
owe
gone
the
at
public
8:30,
anything.
and I was at home at 8:40.
Here's the link.
I
by
was
the way,
home
you guys,
at
to
8:40
read it
giving my son
yourself.
his meds.
You need to take that, your son, and go to the law enforcement and give your statement.
They already know. But Kimberly's trying to make everybody think that I'm this horrible, bad person.
Why would Kimberly want to do that?
Because Kimberly's trying to get me out of the picture for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
Now look, this is on 11/23, right before she was found on the 25th. This is right after Kimberly starts throwing shade at her publicly,
What would her motive be for
or
that?
accusing her publicly and stuff like that.
She's always had motive to do something to me. These girls have always done something to me. You can ask anybody.
But
that
like what?
actually-
Like what? I wish we had this live, the full thing. Let me play that last part again.
You can ask anybody.
But
that
like what?
actually knows what goes on.
But like give us an example, just because so we can understand the dynamic.
Like,
She's saying that I did something.
Now I couldn't find part 2. Let me see. Here's part
Did you ever keep her medication?
I wonder if she has it all. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I don't think I'll be able to find it, and I don't know what. Seems to be a whole lot here. I'll look through some of this. Oh wait, here we go. Boom. There's just so much on this account. Let's go listen. Oh my God.
Kimberly
So that's exciting. All right, here we go.
went and told her stepmom that I was going to kill. I never even said anything about.
now
The
you need to
foster
use
mom,
TikTok
stepmom.
safe word, please.
Oh, you need to use TikTok safe word. You can't say the word kill. Wait. So Kimberly told, I hadn't heard this because I hadn't seen the part 2. She said they were always out to get her, both of the girls, or whatever she just said. Kimberly told her, what'd you say, stepmom?
Even said anything about.
Now
The
you need to
foster
use
mom,
TikTok safe
stepmom.
word.
Foster mom.
Kimberly went and told her stepmom that I was going to kill. I never even said anything about.
Now
The
you need to
foster
use
mom,
TikTok safe
stepmom.
word, please.
Unalive.
So
You need to say unalive.
sorry.
Do not say that other word.
alive.
Okay.
And she went and told her that, and I never said that. And there was a PPO that went against me.
Oh, a personal protection order from Kimberly because she said that you were going to kill her? What?
And the judge sided with Kimberly and the foster mom. I love my kids.
Oh my God. Could we get that? I don't know.
Like, I would never do
Coffee,
anything to
I'm not
harm
sure.
them. And Kimberly is making this like blow up for no reason.
Well, can I ask just a question, just because you are saying you love your kids? I'm not, here to guess or judge or anything, but I did hear in an interview or something where you were like talking about having a daughter and you said unfortunately. So are you
that was
happy
a
that you have your
recording.
daughters?
Kimberly went and told her stepmom that
now
I
that's
was going to
part two.
kill.
We
I
gotta
never
keep
even
going. Hold
said
on.
anything about.
Now you
Oh, yeah.
Are you happy that you have your daughter?
No, I was telling the other person that
These are
recording is what you're talking about. I know
Mhm.
you're.
It looks like these clips are under a minute long from this live. I would like to see the full live. However, I mean, just in the first 2 minutes, we learned that Kimberly and stepmom got a PPO against her at one time. What in the world? How much other bullshit is there that we don't know? And I don't know who the host is on here.
I know
On
what
the
you're talking
other
about.
one, you can see
That recording
host.
was, unfortunately, that girl that I was telling that to doesn't have her kids. It wasn't unfortunately that I have my kids. It was unfortunate that she doesn't have her kids.
Okay, so why would Rebecca go on another platform and say that you threaten her and her kids to keep them quiet from talking about Rebecca?
Rebecca went on another live talking
You mean
about.
Kimberly.
Are you happy that you have your daughter?
No, I was
Okay.
telling the other person, Kimberly
Yes.
doesn't even have her child. She
Well-
cannot take care of her child.
Oh, Kimberly said that you threatened her and her kids about talking about Rebecca.
Mhm.
Kimberly's kid doesn't even talk. She'll be a year old next month.
No, I didn't say she talked. I said you threatened her and her child about talking about Rebecca. They're not allowed to talk about Rebecca. Was that true or not?
No. I never said that. And then something about Chef was saying something about I kept my daughter's seizure medicine from her.
There you go, coffee and
Well,
skeleton.
Kimberly doesn't even have it's Becca that has grandma seizure. Kimberly
Yes.
doesn't even have her child.
Did you ever keep
How
her?
dare you, by the way? Kimberly doesn't even have her child. Bitch, who are you? You didn't have yours. You had all of yours taken.
medication away from her?
Kimberly has never had any medication.
No, not Kimberly, but from Becca.
She does, Samantha. She
Becca
does
has her
clearly disguise
meds
them.
at her house. Well,
Was
They should
there
be there.
ever a time that you kept her meds from her?
no, never.
This
Okay.
is an
I did
account
them
I think
and
I need to
Question.
go
I
through
knew
for
that.
our research.
What's going on with the couch, the white paint, and then the carpet?
I think
It's
that
not a couch. Somebody vandalized my son's truck.
okay,
you
now
ever
we know
keep
the
her
truth of what actually happened to that truck. You know, first we hear in Bradley's version that he went out there to clean it up for Courtney. Then we hear that Bradley did it, you know, that it was blood from Rebecca. Just different versions, but we know now why nobody was allowed to search near the truck. Dude, you guys, I'm sorry, but reading all that, like at the end, I almost got a little bit dizzy. Like, I'll be honest, it was just kind of overwhelming. So I'm glad we did it, but I'm also glad to be done with it. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have, I think it's at 10:30, Kimberly's probable cause hearing. If it's live streamed, I mean, I could live stream it. I'll be home. Oh, crap. School's canceled. I don't know if I can live stream it. But either way, I can be on tomorrow night and we can go through whatever happened during that hearing, because we're going to get more on Kimberly. It's her probable cause hearing. This is a probable cause affidavit for Courtney and Brad. Then in the afternoon, we get Rich's preliminary hearing, which it looks like he wasn't involved at all. And Kimberly, I'm kind of curious of what, I don't know. I held my breath and got lightheaded. Yeah. It was like, I don't know. It was a tough read, but part of it was just trying to like read through it quick enough to be able to talk about some of it with you guys. I don't know. It just kind of made me a little dizzy or something. Okay, let me think what else. So yeah, tomorrow we have that, and then we can finish the interview, because don't forget, last night my headphones died. We were watching this, and we were right here in this interview. This is the last one right before Rebecca's found, where all of a sudden things change and they start blaming Kimmy. You know, Kimberly had just done that interview the day before, and Courtney gets on here and she is really trying to blame her, and now we know why. She has admitted to police that Kimberly wasn't involved. So how screwed up is that? Now, I'll tell you this. I plan on going through this account a lot. Let's take a look at this. This looks like when they got out on bond. Interesting. So they've covered a lot. Charged on 8 counts. Look at him there. Ugh. You sick freak. Do you guys think like they were just both totally all the way in together? You know? Police cut a piece of wall from the shed on Courtney's property, this says, on 11:30. I don't see a piece. Oh, there you go. I do see it come out, actually. Watch at the end here. It's gone. That piece there. Wow. All right, let's flip through just a little bit more. The prosecutor. It's as serious as it gets. It's as horrible as it gets. Okay. No police presence at Courtney's house. They're arrested. Brad with police at 2-track where Rebecca's body was found. Brad returns with the state police to the 2-track where Rebecca's body was found. Huh. Look, here's the white truck. Courtney's white truck being towed into evidence. Here is the white truck we just read about. This is where it took place. It started in this vehicle right here. This attack on this young 22-year-old kid to steal her baby from some old fucking bitch who's, God only knows, you know, why she didn't just try to have her own baby. I don't know, but regardless, and she's not old, but still, compared to Rebecca, she is. I am too. And nah, I'm sorry. We knew it was bad, but there's just something about reading all that paperwork that's just so much worse. The sister, now we know. Let's talk about a couple things we know for sure that we wondered. We know for a fact, Courtney says at least that she used to date Rich, the fiance. So that is not just a rumor. Amber, were you here for that part? It's a fact now. She mentioned that. Number 2, we know for a fact that she was pretending to have a baby in the NICU. Police found messages with her and her sister. Okay. We know for a fact she claims that her baby in the NICU died and she watched it take its last breath. And, you know, she doesn't know why. She just knows that he wasn't breathing. Noted. Right, Amber. Let me think what else we know for a fact. Oh, we had wondered about this truck, about why the seat covers were gone, why nobody was allowed near it. Well, now we know. It had blood all over it, in the floor, on the dash, in the glove box where the knife went for a period of time, everywhere. And the floor was never cleaned. What else? I think that's it that I can think of off the top of my head. I have a theory, but it's too long to type out. Samantha, you want me to drop the link for you, or you want to come up on another day and give your theory, or leave it in the comments, and I can read it tomorrow. Tomorrow I won't be able to cover Stephen Stearns either, because I want to talk about what happens at this hearing and play the rest of the interview. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. Nobody needs to hear my voice. Oh, whatever. I'm sure it's a fine voice. Let's keep flipping a little bit before I let you guys go. Hold on one second. Good Lord. Okay. I'm sorry. I definitely have a little sickness. All right. Let's keep going. Did y'all arrest Brad and Courtney? Detective, no comment. Huh.
So you.
Did y'all arrest Brad and Courtney?
No comment.
Oh,
So you.
I thought he said no comment.
Say they ain't gonna tell us nothing.
Anything.
Hell, they're jealous.
Okay, I don't need all the over dramatic music and shit. I just want to see the videos. Breaking, this is when the police were at the home. Now we know a little more about all of this. That warrant signed. Incident description. Okay. Dude, what in the world was that? Some kind of noise out there in the darkness.
The couch that everybody said was cut out. They noticed that it was ripped
there's
and
another clip
everything.
that I had
I have a
saved that I didn't remember us hearing in one of those interviews.
Did you ever keep her medication?
And then I'm going to let you guys go. I'll see you tomorrow after that. Oh, sorry. Those are, sometimes I'll take my selfies here and then download them just because the camera looks better. Even, that's a little tip. Yeah, the camera looks better on TikTok. No filter, nothing, just the camera. It just looks better. Okay, but then I post them privately so nobody can see them. But they saved to my phone. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to give y'all 20 different pictures of my face or 5 or whatever. But okay, so there was another one I saved I didn't remember us seeing. I think it was what she said here. I know we've seen this, but
there were multiple people out here with side-by-sides. You sit in your house.
Hey guys, we're not getting nothing done.
I'm gonna turn around and go back in the house.
well, thanks,
As
Coffee.
it is, I'm freezing my fucking ass off.
We've been out here since 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you're freezing your ass off, but these people have been out there trying to speak up for Rebecca for a long time, and you're complaining. Ugh. And then look at Bradley.
You hear that?
She said, everybody hear that? She said side by side and she'll be out there looking.
Be here at 11 o'clock in the morning. We rocked
What
it.
time? They're meeting.
11
listen,
o'clock.
They're meeting at 10 a.m. at Ellen's Corners. 10 a.m. at Ellen's
She wants
Corners.
a side by side to ride in.
Hold on.
Be quiet.
Shut up. Hold on a second.
Go back to the night before Rebecca was found when Courtney told everyone where she was located. Listen.
Let me talk. Stop screaming. There's no need to scream.
God almighty. You're disgusting.
Listen, they're meeting at Ellen's Corners. Is a
How? Oh, God.
large search party.
I'm just looking at them too, imagining what they did.
They will have side by sides. They will have four wheelers.
It's not from Ellen's, honey. It's right here behind my house, I'm sure.
Oh, you're saying she's behind the house.
No, like, you go down this road and then you go down.
She's talking about there's a search party meeting tomorrow there.
Okay, we need to make them come here.
Listen to this.
We need to search here
They're
is what you're
setting
saying.
up.
We need to search here is what you're saying. The trail's back behind the house.
Follow me in my truck.
You are one
And we
evil
go.
bitch.
Okay. So they're gonna meet there at 10, and they'll come over here. So they'll be ready at 11.
I know, Kelly. The dog, I
Now,
guess.
can you guys give my grandmother a ring?
I'm not leaving. I called off tomorrow. I'm not leaving.
I'm not calling it off.
I called off work tomorrow. I'm not leaving, Courtney.
We're doing it.
I got all night. I'll be here until the search party shows up tomorrow.
Do not make any noise.
Rebecca's worth it, and I'll make noise for her all night. She's worth it, and so is that baby.
What are you doing here? Get out of the car.
He's been standing with us all night.
Yeah, I know. He told me.
Okay. Let me look right. Is it this one then? There was
Timmy saying what she's
this is it.
saying? That's not gonna happen. My daughter is never gonna come home. You know that. You just said it in your heart.
You know it because you did it, bitch. Let's be real.
My
Oh God,
daughter
I
is
wish
never
God
gonna
I
come
was the
home,
buck
she said.
there.
Woo! She said my daughter is never gonna come home.
She's saying
Don't
that.
even call her that. But yeah, the night before, she tells everyone where she's gonna be found. No, I'm certain of it. It's right behind my house. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right, you guys. So that's it. Now I'll spend the rest of my night wrapping my brain around all of this, and I'm sure you guys will too. But yeah, seriously, when you get done with true crime, like I had to go listen to something that is not related to true crime at all and just kind of relax for a little while before going to bed. So try that. It can affect you emotionally, especially something like this. I said from the beginning, and I'll keep saying it, having a baby is one of the most sacred things in life, right? Like being able to grow a baby and provide for them off of your own body, sustain life. Like I don't know, it's just what an evil witch. What an evil witch she is. I didn't see it, Kelly. I did not see it. Yeah, we're allowed to be mean to her, just like Letitia. Think about it. Letitia and her greasy ass hair. Like, I'm sorry. Nope, these people don't get a break from us. I'm not being nice to somebody like that. So, anyway, thank you guys for being here. Yeah, thank you for listening and sitting through that. I know it was a lot to get through. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I'm just going to end this, and I'll see you tomorrow after court. And then I guess the next day we'll talk about Stefan and the new calls and stuff that have came out. It is so sick. Hey, Dead-Eye Danny. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a good night. Bye. Stay warm.